I don't feel alone. We just settled in and it already feels like home.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Feels Like Home podcast. We apologize for not having an episode last week. Mike and I's schedule has been crazy, and we know you all understand, and we appreciate you very much. And this week kind of got away from us, but we had something kind of in our pocket. When we met with Lori Graves, she talked about her night at the Majestic, her live recording, and that happened this past weekend. And in celebration of that, we took a rabbit trail when we had her in a few weeks ago, and we chased that down for about 20 minutes, talking about sitcoms and TV shows that we grew up with. So here's a special little tidbit about those things that the three of us all loved. And we got into this little side conversation when we were recording, and we kept it thinking that we might use it at some point in time. And Mike and I want to release it this week as our episode, some bonus recording to celebrate Lori's awesome night this past Saturday. So we hope you enjoy. We hope you get some laughs from this, and maybe it stirs up some memories about your favorite sitcom that you grew up with, or sitcoms, plural. So check it out. We hope you enjoy. See you next week. Me too.
I grew up. I used to have rainbow suspenders.
Oh, like yeah, I had those with the thought with the had the thing
rainbow.
on. Yeah,
yep.
I had those.
Rainbow, and what was the other? There were two little
It was a peace sign, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yep.
Peace sign.
It was a peace sign.
And I had a TV in my room, and my parents didn't go to bed till like 11:30, and I would watch MASH for an hour every night.
Nanu Nanu, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Like I knew that.
But like I'm a sitcom guy, so like I grew up on sitcoms unlike you in that sense.
I did. That's how I used to watch Saturday Night Live. When I was in first grade, I sold
No, wait, stop.
Oh, he's like, oh, you just want to jump into it?
Oh, you already are. All right, never mind.
Oh.
I screwed all that up. My bad.
That's it. No,
anyhow, yeah. You Saturday Night Live. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
When I was in first grade, I sold the most cleaner, whatever we were selling. It was cleaner or something. And I got X amount of entries in a drawing, and I won a little black and white television set. I mean, it was just one of those tiny ones, and it had the old school earpiece in it,
Oh, yeah.
Plug in the sign. And I would watch SNL. My parents would be in there watching it in the living room on the big TV, thinking I was asleep. And I'd be in my room, covers over my head with that earpiece in, watching SNL. And I didn't understand it.
Right.
But I'm like, this is funny. I know. Because I remember the Killer Bees. I remember like all the old school stuff that people my age don't really know about. They're like, how'd you know that? I'm like, I watched it. I remember Steve Martin. I remember all those guys on there. Oh, yeah. So
I was a big sitcom kid, and I loved MASH. Now, and a weird thing about MASH is to watch it now, and even at the time, it was a very heavy sitcom.
Yeah.
Right? Because number one, it was set in a war.
Right.
And then two, there was always a hard edge to it, no matter how much they were goofing around. Now, if you watch it, it's super cringy because they were, hitting on all the women and drinking too much.
Oh, yeah.
And like it's super cringy, but like that was my show growing up. I remember for a month straight when I knew that the last MASH episode was going to run and it was going to be like a 2-hour one. I remember I worked on my parents like over and over again. Like I'm staying up for this, like, and they were gracious enough to be like, yeah, you can do it. And
I remember watching it with my dad.
Yeah. And
he's a big MASH fan.
And MASH was kind of my one. The other one that I really liked was Cheers. And I was like that with Cheers, where Sam Malone would do some thing that everybody was laughing about on the show, and it had to do with a woman. And I was like, I don't know why that's funny, but everybody's laughing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, you didn't understand. Like, I bet with MASH, though, because MASH was also, like you said, like it was like emotional. Like there was a lot of adult, that was a complex show.
I remember
they dealt with death.
Explains a lot about you, Throne.
Well, and I remember that the one time on the show, when at the end of the show, it was this sort of like hostage thing or whatever, and Hawkeye Pierce, Alan Alda, used the word "son of a bitch." Mm-hmm. And I remember how big of a deal it was. I was like 12. And I was like, People don't say that. I can't believe you said that on the air. Like, let that go through. And,
What was your favorite sitcom, Marty? You have one from when you were younger?
Oh my gosh. I Family Ties.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I mean, Alex P. Keaton.
Was he your hero?
Oh, I thought he was hilarious. I just loved his part.
That was a great character.
Yeah. Like the time that he was like behind in his studies and he took speed and and it was just like there were so many lessons, from that show. And
then the rub of the liberal parents with the conservative kid, and
and that would be
so. I would love to go back and watch that now and just see
which is opposite of what always happens. As you get older, you get more conservative, and the kids are always the more liberal. And that I always thought that was so funny, even though I probably didn't understand it at the time. But as I grew older, I was like, gosh, that was kind of bass backwards.
Like I don't know if that's on like Nick at Night or anything like that, but boy, it would be interesting to see that show now.
I don't know if it is. That would be an interesting show to remake now.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like what they're doing with Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Which I always liked that show too. I was probably in college when that show was out.
When that one came out.
But, I think that's just a really, it's interesting because like the sitcoms, and I think this is what we were talking about a little bit ago, like sitcoms have become kind of a lost art.
They're not. Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah. I mean, we don't see many of them to begin with. Really, the last few that I can remember is How I Met Your Mother, the Charlie Sheen Show, which was Two and a Half Men.
Yeah.
Like those were the two that I kind of remember as being big ones. Everybody loves Raymond.
By reality shows.
Yeah.
And not that those are all bad. It's just that it's like it replaced all the sitcoms.
Yeah.
And so there are very few sitcoms. Some of them have moved to Netflix, and like The Ranch is a sitcom that has done well on Netflix.
But I think part of it was like these ensemble casts. Like if you remember, like it was such a big deal that the Friends people were getting like $20 million an episode or whatever it was.
Right.
And I mean, like it's hard to do, especially if you get any measure of success, that price just goes up. And so if you already have established stars in it, and then all of a sudden their profile gets bigger, now are we going to kill it? Or are we going to just pay this astronomical fee that we're never going to get back?
Right.
So
I wish they would do like if they would just come out with a few more sitcoms, but cast unknowns. That's how a lot of those people got their. There's tons of people out there. I always loved Three's Company was one of my favorites growing up. I remember Three's Company,
and that was another one that like there was jokes all over that show that I was like, I don't know why they're laughing.
Yeah,
but
I had no idea all the innuendos they were throwing out. Not a clue, but we knew it was funny.
The only thing that I knew that it was funny was that Jack was supposedly gay.
Yeah,
and that the landlord didn't know, and like, but at the time, like again, like I don't know that you would do that the same way you would do it now.
No,
but it's also we tend to see a lot of these things repeated over time too. So,
and that's not anything uncommon now. Yeah. I mean, a gay man living with two women. Maybe they're just roommates. It wouldn't be a big deal to a landlord. But it was then.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was a lot of great 80s stuff. You start, you dig into the Cosby Show, you dig into like Webster, and that was like that Thursday night was a like heavy sitcom night, and then like in the 90s it turned into like the comedy up front, and then ER.
Yeah.
So everything.
I remember I worked at Damon's then, and we would be allowed to clock out at 10 o'clock when we closed, and we would or have a dinner sitting in the kitchen waiting on us. And Becky was the manager, and she'd let us clock out at 10. We'd sit in the bar and watch ER, and then we'd clock back in at 11 and get our stuff done and get out of there. But she would let us do that. She'd get caught up on her paperwork, and we would just be watching ER eating in the bar after closing time.
Well, because Seinfeld was the 9 o'clock lead in, and there was usually another show after that.
There was weird. There was like, what was the David Spade one? There was about a magazine.
Yeah. And that one was really good. I loved that one a lot. I can't remember the name of it now for the life of me.
Well, you had Frasier that started on Thursday. Yeah. You had, and then they moved to another night because they could hold their own.
Yeah.
But you had that. You had Friends and Seinfeld for years. Cheers was there in that time. In that
was that must-see TV. That 2 hours, leading up to ER, and there was like a lot of them that rolled through there. Like Friends and like I think Seinfeld stayed.
Yeah,
but there was a couple they would like pop in and out. But I always liked that David Spade one.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Was that Just Shoot Me?
It was.
Was it? That was it. Yeah.
That was because it had several people on it that ended up being pretty big.
Oh, and Kirstie Alley, she had one there for a little bit.
It was after she was in Cheers. She got out, and then she had that one. I can't remember.
Well,
there was a whole bunch that rolled
Brooke
through there.
Shields? Didn't she have one?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. Was it Suddenly Susan?
Yeah.
I don't remember these. It's weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then there was one on CBS. Designing Women was on CBS.
Designing Women was good.
And then Golden Girls.
Yeah,
it was good.
And
that was the other thing too. I think the really cool thing about sitcoms back then was if you were of a certain sector or a genre or a stage of life, there was pretty much something for you.
Yeah, there was something that represented you as a person.
Yeah, like a network, actually. Like you would lean towards a certain network because of that. Well, like then you go to like even like as a kid, Friday nights was a big TV night in my house. You know, like you had the Love Boat and Fantasy Island back in the 80s, Dukes of Hazzard, and like it was Fridays. I just remember because my parents, it was Friday was after work we went to the grocery store. My mom got groceries for the week, and then we came home and we watched TV together. And so we
because you didn't have VCRs or
I would spend the night with my grandma on the weekends, and we would do the Falcon Crest. What was it? Dallas Falcon Crest. And then
Dallas and Falcon Crest.
And then
back
Fantasy,
to back.
And then like Love Boat Fantasy Island was a night. And
that was the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And then you had what was the show that I watched? Knots Landing.
Oh, that was a Thursday show.
I watched that with my mom. She was
we still remember all this? It's
Knots
crazy.
Landing.
Well, it's just nostalgia.
Yeah.
And you'd always have too, like the sitcoms. Sometimes they'd have to tackle a serious subject, and it would be A Very Special Blossom.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's the one I was going to. A Very Special Blossom. What was the one? Well, that's where Joey, his character, right?
Yeah.
Was on Blossom.
Yep.
And then
he got his own show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot about that too.
I do watch some sitcoms still, which I love Ted Lasso, which is great.
I have not watched that yet.
Yeah.
I need to. I just got through Schitt's Creek finally.
Now see, to me, Schitt's Creek has eclipsed for me Seinfeld as the best sitcom that I've ever watched.
I loved it. I started watching because I'm always at night. I'm always somewhere doing something.
Yeah.
So I finally have been allowing myself to binge some stuff. And, oh my gosh, that's a great show. I love Dan Levy. Oh,
I just think that I think it was a little easy. I mean, obviously 3 of the family members were in the cast.
Yeah.
But like the casting of Chris Elliott in that show is just so on point, And then you throw in somebody that we didn't really know, Annie Murphy, who, became a big part of that show. To me, Kelsey bugged me forever to watch that show. She's Mike, you're going to love this show if you start watching it. You will not stop. And so I couldn't do it then because she was telling me to do it. That would be antithetical for what we're trying to, do in our relationship. So literally it was like 2 years later, I sat down when she was not around, very secretly, and watched the first episode. And man, I was in. I was
crap,
totally
I gotta watch this now.
I was like, so she came home one day. I was like, hey, I started watching, but I watched the first episode without you. She's like, are you going to keep watching it? I said, yep. She goes, oh, I'll sit here and watch the whole thing with you again. So it was great.
So I'm right now, I'm rewatching Psych. Did any of you ever watch that?
I did not.
I watched a few episodes here and there, but you love that show.
It is one of my favorite shows of all time, and it's because it is full of 80s references.
Yeah. Really?
He quotes movies. Like one of the episodes, I'm halfway through season 3, and one of the episodes was they were at their high school reunion, and the two main characters, they were 1994 graduates, just to kind of put you like, so and one of them is a psychic detective, but he's not really psychic. He fakes it. He's just super.
Is this a USA show?
Yeah.
Okay.
USA show.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it went 8 seasons, and it has this cult following. That's crazy. Yeah. And they're doing now that the show's been over for 8 or 9 years, and they're doing movies. So the cast comes back, and they're signed for 4. They've done 2 movies, and they've got 2 more on the books over the next couple of years.
It's going to be on Peacock, I think,
it's
right?
on Peacock.
Yeah.
So
nice.
But they were at their class reunion, and his dad and mom end up showing up at the class reunion, and every episode they're solving a murder.
Okay.
And so like that's the basis of it. So a murder happens at the class reunion, and so his parents are there, and they wander off and like walking through the school because that's where they went to school too. And he finds his dad sitting in the auto body shop, sitting in the car by himself because his mom went off to the bathroom. And so they're sitting there, and he gets to the end, and Sean is always quoting movie quotes. And so he was John Hughes films for the whole episode. So he's quoting Pretty in Pink. He's quoting, Breakfast Club and all this. And so he's sitting in the car, and he's like, "Can I borrow your underwear for just like 10 minutes?" And his dad goes, "No." And he's like, "These are classic movie references and nobody's getting them." And he walks away. He was so upset. And I'm like, anybody who grew up in the 80s, my brother and I both love the show. And anytime he's watching an episode, he'll send me a quote, and I know exactly where it's from. Yeah. So, but so some of those sitcoms became like hour-long shows. Mm-hmm. It's because they needed a little bit longer to. So I feel like there's a lot of the comedies that are not that 22-minute show. They're more the 42-minute shows.
And those are on USA, and those TNT, that's TBS. Yeah. That's where those shows migrated, I think, to those longer sitcoms.
Yeah, there for a while, USA was full of.
USA had a show called Satisfaction. It's about a chick pimp, but it was like very upscale. Like I'm talking like, just watch that. It only went 2 seasons, and I am devastated it didn't go a third. I've got everybody hooked on that. I'm a female friends. This woman she was a beast. But yeah, it was a good show. Not a comedy, by the way. Not a comedy. But
were you guys fans of The Office? I know you haven't.
I have not watched everything, but I'm one of those. I can watch snippets
doing shows.
I've watched. I've watched enough episodes that I get what. I mean, I know the characters, and
same here.
Yeah, I'm a big Office fan. My kids. My older daughters loved Parks and Rec, my oldest daughter in particular. And so I did not watch it when it was out because I always called it an Office ripoff.
Yeah.
And it is to a certain degree, but like it's so like some of the characters are much more developed than the people in The Office, but The Office still kind of holds that special place in my heart for me. So
Rec, a couple episodes. Now, like I said, I've not watched everything, but I know enough to. I'm on Supernatural's my show.
Yeah,
I'm on the 8th episode of season 15. I'm on my second time through.
Yeah,
so
that I gotta say, that is
I was a late comer to that show.
That's quite a feat. If you're gonna watch
that's an investment of time.
Total seasons are there?
15.
Yeah, 15.
So there's 15 episodes or 15 seasons. You've watched every episode of them almost twice now.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah.
I can say that about The Office and probably Seinfeld, but
I mean, most shows to go that long, that's crazy.
Well, first of all, you can't usually keep the cast that long.
No, their fans are rabid too on Twitter.
Yeah.
I follow some people, and they're always fighting with
Grace
each other.
is into
I'm
that
like,
show
you
too.
don't
She likes that
know
show.
them. These two gentlemen have no idea you are fighting about them on Twitter. Not a clue. I want those kind of fans. I want Supernatural fans. That's what I want. People that were like ride or die on Twitter fans,
defending to the end.
They would just share stuff and retweet. Just keep going. Yeah.
So, were any of you like WB fans when the WB network was?
I was not big into that.
I was not.
So, Jen, my wife, when we were dating, like the WB shows were starting to take off, like Dawson's Creek, and I'm trying to think what else was on there. I really got into.
Was Gossip Girl one of those?
Yeah. Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls. Yeah.
Those were shows. My kids loved Gilmore Girls. That was a little older, but I got into what was the Superman Smallville.
Yeah.
That was the WB show.
I remember that one too. Yeah.
But it's not really a comedy, but it was.
All my friends were into X-Files, but I was just I'm not a sci-fi guy.
X-Files, but I was a late comer to that. I mean, I've watched more of them now that it's available on streaming than anything. I could never watch Gilmore Girls because that main character, I don't know her name, I forget, but her cadence and the way her speech, which I know that's why people are attracted to her. I can't do it. I just can't listen to her talk. I'm sure she's a lovely woman, but just that cadence, the way she like phrases things and stops in the middle of a sentence and then continues it. I'm like, you need to stop that. I don't know who let you do that.
I never watched.
I get that's your thing, but I can't do it.
Well, that was a nice little walk down memory lane.
We could talk sitcoms a lot.
For like hours.
We
Good
could.
We didn't even
gracious.
touch half of it.
And
We didn't even. I mean,
we
you could
just
spend
did this
an hour
on the
Seinfeld.
Yeah, we did this on the fly. Like
on
if
the
we
fly,
actually
yeah.
sat down and dug into the.
That needs to be an episode in your top 5 sitcoms.
Yeah, that's true.
Or everybody you interview, just pop the question, then be like, okay, and what was your favorite sitcom? And see,
And then do one on that. That's pretty neat.
That is a good idea. But that's kind of like what Andy does.
Oh,
Andy
you're right. He
Tomlinson
does because he
got,
asks
like,
that
these same
specific
questions.
question.
He's asked me to do his podcast as well.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Well, you're one step ahead of people in my own family because my sister-in-law, who is the Big Brothers Big Sisters director, has actually done 2 things in this town without doing my podcast. So there you go.
I sent him a picture yesterday. I was like, how does this happen? She was with Meredith. Or no, it was Andy's podcast.
Yeah.
It was a picture.
And I was literally
like,
standing next to her when I got it, and I showed it to her, and I go, "That's all right. How does this happen?
How did this
how
happen?
does that happen?
Yeah.
How has she not been on our podcast?
And she also did Meredith's Only in Chillicothe show too.
Gosh.
So you're so much better than all of them.
Thank you. Thank you. I like to think that.
You're our new favorite guest. We don't say that to everybody, but we have said it like 3 times in a row. So
Okay. All right. I'll be your third favorite guest.
Just keep
all right,
stepping
we're
up. You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig.
It feels a little strange, but I don't feel alone. We just settled in and it already feels like home.
From talking to neighbors to connecting to the world, Horizon's internet, digital TV, phone, and security services are all that you need. At Horizon, they have been keeping the residents and businesses of Southern Ohio in touch with their world for over 120 years. And just as the world of communication has changed during that time, so has Horizon. Today, they are your best source to get the services you need to keep your home and business connected to the world around you and beyond. To learn more, go to horizonconnects.com.